Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video on how to set up Zoom sessions to be a little bit easier to access and more accessible, and to help out after the meeting that we had Thursday. I had talked to some people about what they kind of felt comfortable doing with Zoom and how to set it up to make it really easy for you. If we're going to be e-learning for at least the first 4 weeks, then it's Zoom's going to have to be part of it so that we can have our face-to-face instruction. So I am going to just kind of show you quickly how I set up my Zooms, the way to set them up to be reoccurring, to be password protected with the waiting room, and then also to look at the reports for who is in there. So this is just something that I'm going to put out. I'll have Ms. Fitzgerald post it wherever, or I'll directly send it to whoever needs it. And then I'm also available. I'm not going to claim to be an expert per se on Zoom, but working with it in the fourth quarter, I was able to kind of quickly pick up some of the stuff that made it a little easier to avoid some of the problems that we were having, and then make scheduling it out indefinitely a little bit easier as well. So when I have my Zoom set up, I'm going to start sharing my screen with you guys. Actually, hold on one second. I'm going to open up Chrome. Make sure you're using Chrome for everything. If you don't know if you're using Chrome or not, just ask. It's the little circle icon. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Here's my Google homepage. Now, the thing that you have to remember, so I was not doing this fourth quarter last week. I was just doing my own personal Zoom account using my district email. But I found out that if you do not go in through Clever, then you don't have access to the reports and all of the kind of, data that provides. So I would recommend, if you don't have, I don't have that saved. No, so I'm going to just type in Clever. It'll bring you to this screen. I would recommend, if you don't have this favorited like I don't, just favoriting it. Clever login. That's not what I wanted to do. Let me move, my face is in the way. Yep, so now it's on my list of saved Clever login. Now it's on my list of saved websites. So I'll go here, I'll log in with the Active Directory. You guys know how to do Clever, hopefully. But it is just really as easy as searching Clever Hillsborough HCPS. So when it brings you to this page, remember, this is the way you have to do it in order to get access to the reports and some of the other stuff. So here's Canvas, which I'm actually going to do a brief video on Canvas as well, just something from the student side. And then here is Zoom, teachers and staff. So click on that. You're already logged in with Clever, so it'll already log you in to Zoom. So it'll be your home screen here. So here's my home screen. If you notice, when I click on my account, it says licensed, and it's my Lawson number, because they set that up for us. We got all of that. So now here's profile. You can add your picture, obviously, your meetings, your webinars, your recordings, your settings, all of that. So I'm just going to show you very basically how to set up those recurring class meetings, essentially, so that you only have to do it a couple times throughout the school year. So if you go to meetings, you get a couple of options. I hope my face isn't in the way. It's in the way on my screen, but I'm going to put it down here. You have upcoming. Obviously, those are the ones that you can make. Your previous ones, which I don't think I have any in here right now. Personal meeting room, you can. I've never actually used that, but I think it's similar. And then meeting templates, I've also not made a template before. So I'm just going to do upcoming meetings, and then click right here on schedule a new meeting. So now I'm going to name, like, topic. Well, first of all, here's what we have. We have topic, we have the description, the time, the duration, and then all these other little details. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click recurring meeting. Okay, that is going to make the meeting happen whenever I want it, as often as I want it, and I'll get into the details. But first, I'm going to make, those are the Zoom sessions I've had. I'm going to make one for each of my blocks, so that I only have to do it this one time, and then everything is set up indefinitely. So I'll just name this one block 11, which for me is geometry honors, if I can spell it. Okay. And now this will be our regular meeting place. Wow. Okay. You guys are seeing my typing abilities here. Regular meeting place for block 11 geometry with Mr. Welch. So now when? So let's say I want to start it. Let's say the first day of school is the 24th. And that class is at let's just say 8. I don't remember the bell schedule. 8 a.m. Okay. And it says 1 hour and, you know, whatever minutes. This is like the time limit essentially. I'm going to set it for 2 hours. Just that's more than, you know, the class will be, but I'm going to set it for 2 hours. And as we finish, kids can leave and I can log off. Okay. So that is just kind of your basic, you know, standard. Actually, I'm going to change this to block 12 because block 11 is JA. So just because I'm going to use this going forward. Block 12, geometry honors, starting on the 24th at 8 a.m. Although I'm sure we have homeroom, you know, the first week of school. I don't really know, but just, you know, reoccurrence. So I don't want it reoccurring daily, and I don't want it I don't want it reoccurring weekly, monthly, no fixed time. I want it reoccurring every other day, right? So now if I do every 2 days, the reason that is tricky is because obviously that's going to include weekends and it's going to include all this other stuff. So what you can do instead is you can have it set up so a couple of options. One, you can just go ahead and make this reoccurring every other day, and then the other ones every other day, and then they'll eventually sync up. But I mean, that is kind of an odd step, so you don't really want that. Instead, what you can do is you can do, I've actually never looked at no fixed time. I wonder what that means. Nothing. Okay. So it doesn't allow you to pick which specific dates you want it to occur on, but you can do weekly on whatever, you know, day of the week. You can do it daily every, you know, day essentially. So now if I set it to every day, I'm going to do that for every day. And I'm going to say end date, let's say, I don't know, like the last time will be the Monday, the 5th of October. It doesn't really matter. So that is 43 Zoom sessions. That's too many. We're probably not going to have that many, obviously, for this one block, but that's 43 Zoom sessions that are scheduled, okay? Passcode, I'm going to make the passcode the same every single time. It's going to be Welch 1881, okay? Video on, participant on. Everyone has to have their face showing. Audio says telephone or computer audio. I always just click both. That means if their computer is not working, like with the audio, they can actually call in. There's a phone number that will get them audio. But I've never had to do that before. That's something that their audio always works. And of course, if it doesn't, then they'll just have to chat until you figure something else out. And then meeting options. So here are the ones that you're going to want to click. Mute participants upon entry. They'll come into your class pre-muted. Okay. And then if you want to record the meeting, you can. Again, I don't know the rules on that or what we're being asked to do. The only one I would avoid is enable join before host, because that allows the kids to get into the Zoom before you're there. So just kind of avoid that. And then authenticated users can join. I'm not really sure. That means they would have to sign into Zoom. And I don't know if our kids have Zoom accounts. So I'm just going to leave the mute participants upon entry. And then I'm going to make sure I have, if there's a waiting room. Yeah, so by not clicking this, it creates the waiting room. So leave that unchecked. You can also create an alternative host if you want someone else to host it for you or with you. So I'm going to click save. And now I have my meetings, manage block 12 geometry honors. So obviously it's scheduled for every day, which is not going to be the case. The meeting ID is here, and that'll stay the same. You can actually change that if you want, I believe. I've never actually, I always just go with the number. You are editing a recurring meeting. Do you want to edit only this meeting or all of them? So I'll do all of them. All of that stays the same. Passcode, where's the actual? I guess you're not able to create an original Zoom code, so you're just gonna have to be okay with that. You can create your original password. This should be the same ID every single time for all your recurring meetings. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Here it's all set, you know, through blah, 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 blah. Now, obviously, you're not gonna do every single one of these meetings, but you have them all set up so that when you go to, you know, you wake up in the morning, you log into your computer and you go to meetings, they're all here. So you're not going to do the one on Sunday or Saturday, but let's say we are, you know, we have one Monday and then we have one Wednesday, then we have one Friday. The next one would be Tuesday, right? So that you just click that. and then, you know, start this. It'll be active that day of the week, and it'll have a little button here that says start this meeting. So pretty easy, not really anything too complicated to get it going. You know, there's an invite link if you want to put that in your Canvas or email it out. Normally I just give the code out. I think it's a lot easier. It's got the waiting room enabled, so that means kids are not going to be able to get in or out. And I can show you, you know, if you will have more questions about how that works, then we can always meet in person and talk. The only other thing that I really wanted to show you to make sure that you have this kind of down. Now, obviously, you're going to have to set up that for all of your classes, so you're going to have a lot of meetings scheduled, but you're only going to activate them when you need to. So if you have extra meetings scheduled that you don't use, there's no harm or anything bad about that. So now this right here is recordings. You can save your meetings, like I said, the actual video recordings, and they save right to either the cloud or to the computer. You can do it, you know, whichever you want. Your settings, again, this is just like your meeting settings, your recording settings. But reports is kind of the big one. So reports is not going to allow me to show you anything right now because I don't have any reports saved. But just looking at these right here, you can look at usage reports, which are meetings, participants, meeting minutes within a specified time range. So it'll tell you when the meeting was happening and who was in it. And then registration reports and poll reports. So if you have polls or you have any other kind of, I guess, chat, anything like will be saved in the meeting report. So usage reports, again, look at all this good information. It shows you the meeting ID, the username, the user email, the creation time, participants. It has everything. So, and then you can export it to a file. You can do, you know, time search. So this is really where you're going to want to kind of become familiar, especially if you want to use it for attendance purposes. So I think that is kind of the gist of it. Again, I don't know if there are going to be specific questions. Like I said, I'm not claiming to be like a super Zoom expert, but it is really easy to set up those ongoing, reoccurring Zoom meetings so you can do it one time and then they're ready for you when you need them. Keep the kids locked out until you're ready to admit them, keep your password consistent, and then have access to reports. So I think that is kind of all of it. Again, I know that wasn't like super detailed, but it's probably better than having a really in-depth, crazy video. So if you have any more questions about that, you can just message me directly, come find me in 321, or I'm not sure where Trisha is going to post this, but hopefully she does. And anything you have to ask about Zoom gets answered. All right. See you guys.